Welcome to the Nerd Tutorial Podcast, a podcast offering discussions and tutorials on nerdy subjects for people who aren't necessarily nerdy themselves. With you today is myself, your nerdy tutor, and with me here is my mom, future Royal Rumble participant or SmackDown competitor maybe, or...
I could do a Royal Rumble and hop in the ring for a couple of minutes.
I got you pegged for a women's champion at one point.
Yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely. So
I have the hair for it.
Absolutely, definitely the hair. So last week we talked about the Royal Rumble. It came up, admittedly not in plan. It came up as something we wanted to talk about anyways. It interrupted our little Gundam discussion that we were having, but we're right back on with our Gundam subject. And I would love to introduce everybody here to visit our website here today. We do have a video for what we're talking about today. You can visit at the nerdtutorialpodcast.com, or as well as our YouTube page, youtube.com forward slash nerd tutorial podcast / and then we'll have a video of what we're doing on there as well. So today we're going to be talking about Gunpla. It's the ancient Japanese arts of folding American firearms into different things, such as cranes, hats, shawls that you can wear that keeps you warm at night, footwear, and occasionally taxi drivers.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
But in reality, actually, Gundam, we're talking about Gunpla, which in most cases talks about Gundam model kits. The play on the term is Gunpla, which means Gundam plastic models.
Okay.
And this is very much one of those examples right here. So we're for those of you looking here, this is the 1/100. This is a 1/100 RX-0 Gundam Unicorn in a master grade. This is one of the various levels of quality of Gundam models. Master grade is a good quality usually. It's kind of like a tier 3 kind of level kind of Gundam if we have to talk about various levels of them. It's a good Gundam for somebody who's already made models before. This one is kind of fun because it took almost 6 hours to make actually.
Well, okay, so it's articulated.
Every little bit of it's articulated. What's unique about this one here, in particular to this one, this is not typical of most Gundams. This one right here can go back into unicorn mode.
Oh wow!
And so every little bit of the translucent red armor bits that you see there can be hidden again, and it can look in its full white mode. Now,
so all of those things slide back up.
Yes, so everything articulates to be hidden again. Now, in this particular sense, because I'm using it for display purposes, and I got this nice little display stand for it as well.
Okay, and that came with?
No, I actually bought extra.
Oh, okay.
It's maybe like an extra $10 to $15. I figured if you're going to build a master grade, you got to have, you might want to consider a stand for it at the end of the day. It's not that much of an extra expenditure at the end of the day, really.
Oh, it's a nice way to display it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he looks like he's flying.
It looks like he's flying. You can have him in different poses. And what's nice about this here at the end of the day, as I find, is that again, there is an arm aperture here that can go up and down. You can
so you can put him in different. Yeah.
This can actually be a lot higher in the air, actually, which is meant for models of a perfect grade status, which are much higher quality and often bigger in some cases.
So how many grades are there?
So there's actually a couple different variations on the Gundam grades here. So the basic level you have is a high grade, so it's kind of like a tier 1.
Is that what?
So this one that we have here, this is our original RX. This is our original RX-78-2 Gundam, the original Gundam from the show Gundam.
Okay.
Mobile Suit Gundam. This is known as a real grade. So this is like a tier 2 level. A regular high grade is their very kind of entry level kind of level of Gunpla at the end of the day. They're small. They're not that big. They're probably about maybe 2/3 the size of this box. They're not smaller. They typically are in a 1 to 144 quality of size.
Scale, okay.
Of scale at the end of the day. So if you can imagine, this is a 1/100. If you multiply this 100 times, this would be the size of the Gundam we saw in Tokyo.
Okay.
So, and so a master grade here at 144 scale would be, you'd have to multiply that 144 times to get there.
Okay.
So, We also have real grade, which is what this is. This is a good tier 2 sort of level. So this is, I find, to be a good entry level here as well. If you really want to see what Gunpla is like, I find that real grades are really good for just kind of jumping in right away. They're a little bit more complex, but if you don't, but you get a good sense of what you're doing when you're building it. So you know that if this wasn't fun for you at the end of the day, then you never have to do it ever again.
And expense wise?
This is probably about 25 to 30
Okay.
bucks. They're not. They're
So
not
for an entry level thing, it's
for an entry level thing. They're not inexpensive, but I mean, like, again, we got that big Dex box of Magic for about 30 bucks as well, and you know, if you want to go watch a movie, that's still about 15 bucks there too. So I mean,
and
like,
if you take somebody, you're in for 30.
yeah, and you're in for
Yeah.
30. So I mean, this is a good entry kind of position here.
Okay.
And so this version that we have here, again, this is the master grade, kind of a tier 3 level sort of one here. They tend to be in much bigger boxes and more detailed and ornate.
So we're looking at double or triple the expense, or
Depends. Depending on the master grade here, we're probably looking at about a $50 to $60 value in this in a lot of cases. So sometimes double, but it also depends on the level here. So in this case, like the Gundam Unicorn was probably more in the range of like 65 to 75 because it transforms, and so and
Okay.
it has a lot of these. And again, it has a lot more very intricate little parts.
I just blown away with
All the translucent elements.
oh, and all the pieces, and the fact that it all articulates.
And again, everything can be taken off. I mean, like, you've got this beam saber that comes out right here, so if you want to deflect the shot, you can. The
And
shield.
is it standard that they are be articulated, or
Yes.
Or, okay.
Oh, yes. Not to make so in this case here, like, it literally has fingers that articulate. So the first three fingers would have like kind of are in like a cupped sort of fashion. So they kind of were meant to be cupping something or holding a fist. You got a trigger finger and a thumb that's on. They're all on ball joints, so they can move
Okay.
around. The head's on a ball joint. Again, this entire bazooka on the back can come off as well. I mean, as an example here, let me ever so delicately take this off. Again, it can be a little fragile too. That's another thing I should mention here.
Okay.
This bazooka literally has a handle that pops out for it as well that you can hold on to, and reloadable ammo case.
Okay. So it's detailed.
Yes, so and it also extends outwards, so you can have the full actual thing. It's kind of in a more compact mode when it's not.
Okay.
So no, these things can be very articulated, and not just Gundams do this. Other mech series have gotten into the fashion of doing similar model kit sort of things here as well. I have a model kit from a show that was 15 plus years ago now, that now I'm eager to put together as well. It's a little bit smaller than this, but hopefully just as nice because it's very rare.
Okay.
The next level you get after this is known as what they call Reborn 100 kind of grade. It's like a tier 4. They're a slightly newer thing that just came out back in 2014. I think in either August or September, I want to say. They're kind of a middle point between what is considered the perfect grade and master grade. Perfect grade being like the best of the best kind of model kits. These are ones that will typically run you at least $100. Usually have limited runs for them in a lot of cases, so don't make a whole lot of them. And so they're far more desirable for model makers typically. There's also the ones in which if you're going to have one, you'll do a lot of extra work to make like extra panel lines on them. You'll maybe do damage on them. This is just built straight from the box. It barely has any stickers with the exception of the V-fins on the top of its head because they're gold, and while they were white beforehand, I wasn't going to let them be that way for long.
Okay.
I wanted them to look gold because they're gold in the show.
Okay.
But he's got a lot more stickers. Like there could be stickers on his shoulders, on his shield. There's a couple like warning stickers throughout him. So there's
Okay.
so there are more that could be done to this guy at the end of the day. I also haven't put any panel lines on him at all either. I felt that panel lines would be a little would be very hard to see to begin with because of all the parts that already open up. But typically for this would be a lot more panel lines here. But because
Okay, does the kit come with those, or is that something you buy extra?
the panel lines, or
Uh-huh.
so panel lines, if you will, like if you notice that his helmet, how he has like little kind of lines
Right.
and grooves in there, you can highlight them with a Gundam pen.
Oh,
So
there are Gundam pins.
It literally it says Gundam marker right on the side there.
It does.
So Gundam marker.
And in both English and in Japanese.
Yes. Primarily Japanese on here.
Primarily Japanese, yeah.
So
that's what I'm noticing.
The intention being is that you would, and there's a couple different ways you can do it. There's also like inkwell kind of versions as well, where you
have to have a very steady hand to do this so small.
Yes, and they're very, very tiny pens here, like a 0.2 on there, in order to be able to get into there. So what you would do is you would outline the panel, and obviously because there's a little bit of splash that happens afterwards, you'd come in with a straight eraser and you would erase the remaining bits that you don't want.
Okay.
And obviously there's a couple different colors here, from black, which is kind of more traditional sort of color, silver if you wanted to paint like engines, or if you wanted to have your panel lines kind of match a little bit more with the color, and brown if you wanted to show like some battle damage, or this was something where like, oh, you might use this around the feet because they'd be standing in dirt ever so occasionally.
So people build them and then detail them out, sort of like putting wear on a cosplay so that it looks
very much actually.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they would wear them. In some cases you might cut up certain pieces and repaint them again. There is literally, when we go through here, when we get to the instructions, there's a color outline of suggested colors to use.
Oh wow.
That you could get for this if you wanted to paint it in a certain way to be show accurate, so you would know what colors you could go buy, or what colors, if you already had them, if what you needed as well.
Okay, so now you have
this magazine,
okay,
which is again is full of just Gundam models in here, as examples here, and a lot of other model kits as well. But
so now, can you buy them from here, or
not,
this is in
typically,
Japanese?
This is in Japanese, but typically you can't. Typically, you wouldn't buy them from here at all necessarily.
No, we saw tons of them when we were in Akihabara.
Yeah, and most good nerd stores would have them.
Okay.
They're also very easy to find online. And Amazon was where we got this one here.
Okay.
But as you can see, like, there's again various different models kits in here. This is just in this case here, there's an actual, people have made full dioramas out of these. Some of them, especially with the perfect grades, come with lights, or you can put LED lights into them.
Okay.
Which gets it even more complicated over time. This guy here put cloth on his.
That's pretty
to
cool.
kind of match up.
So he felted it up.
Yes. Well, if you tell somebody you felt something up.
Oh, okay. Well, he clad it in thin felt. Yeah.
True,
thin felt. Yeah.
So you see people posing them in different ways here as well. There's Char's unit right there.
Okay.
So
that is Char's unit.
Yes. So, but yeah. So an entire magazine just full of Gundam examples at the end of the day, and I've collected these every so many years, because usually if you get them after a year, they're usually on sale at that point, or depending on, sometimes you can get them pretty cheap. This one here, I think, set me back 20 or 200,000 yen maybe, or not, no, just like 2,000 yen.
Oh, so did you buy this when we were in Japan?
In Japan, yes.
Okay, and this is October of 2019, so when you bought it, it was just newly issued.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been just 2019.
Because we were there in September, yeah.
Yep, so this is 2019. So this would have been just either within a year or within a couple of weeks, possibly, so.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you ready? So, I think a lot of part of with Gunpla here is just getting acquainted with what you got ahead of you. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and
I'm having visions of the Lego people that the
little
figures.
Lego. Yes.
The figures.
You would not be wrong.
I would not be wrong. Oh my gosh! Okay.
So what you're going to find in here initially are lots of these what we call runners at the end of the day. So basically what they'll do is when they make the model here, they then cut it up into smaller pieces that are intended to be put together. Sometimes it's computer done and other times it's not.
Yeah, so this one took you 6 hours.
This one took me about 6.5 hours to make.
Okay, so how long is this one going to take?
This one might be 2 different podcasts even.
Yeah.
So.
Because there's no way this is happening in an hour.
No.
Okay.
No, this one, no. Possibly, but probably not. So,
okay, so there's.
So here we have is our nice instruction kit here. Now, it will tell you what pieces to use. It's very good about telling you where to find the pieces so it'll tell you usually the runner, which in this case, like for example, this is the B runner, and then it will have parts listed on here. So we haven't opened this up ahead of time because we want to get you the full experience, but let me go get some more scissors.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. So okay, so on the actual thing,
on the runners, there's a
it
letter.
tells
on
you
it.
there's a letter and a number.
Yes, and the numbers will correspond with parts at the end of the day.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and just open these up.
Okay. So this is telling me I'm going to start with.
Oh, this first page is just an example page.
Okay, this is just an example page.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and feel free to take a look. So this is also telling you all the different runners that you have that you'll need at the end of the day.
Okay.
Some kits, in a lot of cases, will come with runners in which you won't use all the parts on them because the runners are actually from different model kits.
Okay. We have American Girl does this with their Mega Blocks, and it drives me crazy.
Oh, that you have extras?
Yeah, because you have extra pieces, and you're like, what did I do wrong?
Sometimes. Gunpla is usually pretty good about not being that at the end of the day. So
Okay.
let me go grab some more here.
And
for you.
I do have stickers here.
Yep, you have decals for them.
I have decals. Okay.
Yep, and we can put the decals on as we come across them here.
Some of these are really small.
Oh yes, that is why. So these are the things here. We will
They're
go over.
itty bitty.
We'll go over our tools here next.
They're numbered though.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me grab this one here for you as well. And you also notice that these are already colored as well. So when they did the injection molding for this, they did the molds for this here, they injected colored mold on in here. Again, some people will repaint them here. You'll have people that'll repaint them in different color schemes entirely. So they'll repaint it to be all black and blue, or maybe a camouflage design to it, or if you didn't like, for example, like this red color here, you might find a brighter red, or maybe a pinker red even.
So I could make her hot pink.
You could make this entire Gundam a hot pink Gundam at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. So I'm now on leg unit.
Yes. So we're gonna go. So before we get started on actually building it here.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll notice here is that it's going to have a bold letter, and then it's going to have a number associated with it.
Okay.
And the bold letter here is going to refer to the runner that you're going to have, that you'll want to need, that you're going to need to pull to find this from. But it'll also let you know the numbered piece as well. And usually, sometimes there might even be two of the same number or runner.
Oh, this is interesting because this particular runner is in 3 different colors.
Yes. This one is also in 3 different colors too.
Oh, wow.
So you have a very light blue, which I think is the probably some other little ornamental bits. You have red, and you have your traditional dark. You have your dark blue, which is going to be the chest piece, probably.
Okay, so this is C.
Mm-hmm.
This is A. This is D1, and that's E1.
So I have D3 over here.
Well, this says it's on B10.
So I think so.
Where's B?
E. B.
Okay.
So what we have. So we have some tools here as well.
Okay.
So your favoriteest tool here is going to be the snippers here at the end of the day.
Okay.
And so
I want to snip close and smoothly, right?
Ideally, yes. Although in some
so I don't get snags.
So or so you don't clip the runners in some cases. So as an example here, so we want to start with B10. All right. So B10 is one of these foot pieces here.
Right.
So now this is an example here might be a little too close to get to. So there's a piece right here, right by the foot, which is really kind of hard to easily get to with snippers here.
Uh-huh.
So
I can X-Acto knife it?
Nope. We can. There's X-Acto knife in there as well. But so what we'll do here is so we'll actually cut off the bits of the runner part here to give us a little bit more access to it. And then so this one has a flat edge and then it has a rounded edge on the other side.
Okay.
We want to always cut with the flat edge to as close as we can to the model here. And so what we'll do is we will ever so gingerly here, just kind of, and it's black so it's a little harder to see sometimes, but
and that is supposed to come off, right?
Yes. And so so we'll go ahead and clip that there, and then this one here. Now another thing we can do is after you cut the little bits off here, and now mind you, you'll have like little bits of plastic kind of all over.
Yeah.
That's just a vacuum cleaner afterwards.
Okay.
So don't be too worried about making a little bit of a mess here. Now what you can do afterwards, you can kind of rub your finger over it to see if you still have like a little bit of a nub. Maybe you didn't get too close to it. I have filers in various shades here.
Oh, like a nail file.
Well, very much like a nail file. In fact, actually, you've got, again, you can feel for yourself, you've got different sort of textures here.
Yeah, yeah. The different grades of a nail file.
Yeah, and this one is very, very smooth here as well.
Yeah.
It almost feels like cloth in a lot of cases, but it's really good at just getting stuff down if you want it to be as smooth as possible.
Okay.
This is primarily a foot part here, so it's not really quite the end of the world here. So, let's see.
I want that, and I want H. C.
There is another part here it really wants me to get to. So this is the ankle, and it's looking for a. And this is also always one of those cases in which I spoke more Japanese. Oh wow! It already comes with its ball joint already attached already.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow! This is fully. It's already fully kind of articulated a little bit. But there is a. Okay. I see where it's already attached already. Don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
Or actually, I do need to take it out here. So there is a. So the next part, if you want to
Find it is H.
H3, and I imagine H3 might be another black piece most likely. This is F.
This is B.
This is H right here.
H. So I want H.
So this is a piece here I need to take out apparently.
Okay, and you can see all the little numbers on here. And if there's two, I'm assuming they're identical.
Yes, in this case here, like for these foot pieces here, there's probably going to be some identical pieces here at the end of the day.
Okay. And I can go back and sort of trim this up once I get it out.
Yes, always to be careful when you trim it, because again, you don't want to
take off something that I need. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Come on. I can feel it coming out. I just can't.
Okay.
May I borrow my tweezers I have? Oh, there we go. Never mind. I got it out. Fine. Oh, okay. I do need the tweezers. I was able to get it out, but I got a little part stuck in there. So let's see. Come on. There we go. Got it out.
Okay.
So
what were we removing there?
So there was a little bit of an indentation that was here in the foot. That I thought was an extra piece, but actually, according to the instructions, they have little downward arrows on here, telling us to kind of chip it off.
Okay.
And so, in this particular case here, you'll attach that eye part here underneath the foot. So,
that's underneath.
So this way originally was underneath. So.
Okay. And it's gonna go with the big part in the back.
Kind of with the circle element to it.
Okay. Oh, I'm trying to make sure I get it the right direction.
So it looks like it lays in there perpendicularly. So, did it snap in at all?
I can see where it's. Wow, this is like an
very tiny little bit here. Yeah.
Very tiny little bits. Okay. So, I think I see where it's supposed to go. I'm just not sure I have it headed the.
May I see real quickly?
Yeah. Okay. Just a second.
All right. Or actually, I know. I will build one along with you. Let me grab the here real quickly. And that was a 3-part here. Okay.
Ooh, it wants to snap.
So I got that part.
So I'm trying to pay attention to where this. Oh, okay.
So see on the bottom how it has these two little slots up there?
Yeah.
Those are the ones you want to align with the slots on the
piece.
On the piece there. Let me grab this last foot here. Because it's telling us to build both of them at the same time, essentially.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I've got it in.
All right. Cool.
Okay. So now this comes up.
So you already tell how it's got kind of the ball joint already in there?
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's see. So let's see here. What is the next element here?
Now it's telling me we want E1 and 2.
Yes, there's an E1 and 2. So I have the E2 over here, which is a white part. And let me see if I can find the other. Oh, here's
Thank you.
Let me see if I can find the other E runner here. So there are actually, thankfully, there are.
14.
Yeah. So there. Here I found.
There's also a C. It also wants a C8.
No, I'm always waiting for the day in which there's a part called C3 and then a PO next to it.
Yeah.
Ah, I see where this would go. Yeah. Awesome.
Those are really sharp little clippers.
Yes, they are. One of those cases in which, if you're going to be doing this, wear pants and or shoes. Because if you do decide to drop it because you want to lean back in your chair, you can get yourself.
Okay, so there's...
Yeah, and I have E1 over here for you. And then...
Oh, I took off C14. I meant to take off C... No, C14.
E2 14. Mm-hmm.
And this is...
E1.
E1 14, okay. All right. Oh, okay.
Oh, got that foot bit out.
Okay, so these two pieces are identical. And that's because they're 2 feet?
Oh, I know what it is here. So one of which is the right foot and the other one is the left foot.
Okay, so how do you tell? Or are they the same?
I believe they're pretty much the same, so it doesn't matter
Okay.
which at the end of the day.
So I'm looking at...
And then we need C8, which I have, which I think you might have. So it's probably red because his feet are red. So I think that's the C runner right there.
Okay, so we need we need 2 C8s? One presumes?
Yes,
one
one for me, one for me, yes.
Okay. Okay, so there they are, C8.
Ah, I see where this would go. Thank you.
Okay, so this goes...
So in this case here, it does tell you which one to do first. So you see the red one?
Uh-huh.
So it wants you to install the red one first and then the
red one goes...
underneath the foot with the thrusters that you had initially.
Those are thrusters.
Yes.
Cool.
Leg thrusters as much as they can be. So
Okay.
So here's an example where I didn't cut off nearly enough, but I want to kind of get this little nub here. I'm just going to sand it down.
I'm going to sand down as well because I think I have the same issue. Okay.
In this case here, this one's a little less aggressive. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't take much to smooth.
No, it really doesn't. They're very, very sort of
Just
gentle,
strokes.
just gentle strokes here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually take off quite a bit real quickly with these in some cases, and then if you
So just
then you
so
can buff it out.
this pivots all the way around. Okay,
Mhm.
so does that look approximately right?
I think you might have it backwards.
Backwards.
So I'm not 100% certain yet. I'm not quite there yet. So let's see here. Oh, thank you. So okay. So see how it kind of let's see. May I see your foot? You have it correct, although I think we have the thrusters on the foot backwards.
Oh. Okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's more correct because it follows kind of the outline
That curve,
of
yeah.
It follows that line of that curve.
Okay. All right.
So, and then alrighty. So then we get the.
And mind you, the pieces, even when they're small, the pieces have quite a bit of detail on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like little shapes and little details. Okay. So where are we to next?
So we're gonna go down to this point here.
So D1 and D2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's D1.
I have D2 over here.
Okay.
So D2, it's which piece? Number 10.
10.
Okay.
What am I looking for here? I see it. Okay.
It'll look like a foot.
Yep.
Not intentionally, but eventually.
Now, is it ever tempting to just snap all these out beforehand, but you wouldn't know which ones they were?
Yeah, that's been problems before. Some people would get overly anxious to build stuff.
Okay.
Would lose track pretty quickly if they didn't know which pieces were the original pieces at the beginning.
Okay, so this piece goes on top of this?
Yes, so it fits kind of into that first white pieces slot.
I see it.
So,
Okay,
and then
I got it.
You
Okay.
just want to kind of press it in firmly to make sure that it's in there, and then we need a C, which is the red bits here again.
Okay.
And then I believe we're going to be C6. So, which it looks like a toe.
Oh, it does.
Again, not initially, but eventually.
No, I see it.
So what some people will do sometimes, like like those standing file separators that you might have at work.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will buy those in order to hang Gundam these racks on here at the end of the day, so they can kind of keep track of it by letter, especially with the larger kits. Again, mine went all the way up to P, I want to say, for the amount of runners.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like, this guy also has. Thankfully, he doesn't have a huge one, but he has a little bit of an understructure underneath him as well. So he can.
I just know your brother was very excited because he said it was the one in the video.
Oh yes,
we took.
Yeah. Well, not even though just the one in the video. He actually watched some episodes of Gundam Unicorn.
Oh, okay.
And during when we were talking about mech series while you were gone.
Oh, okay.
And he told me that he would continue watching this he would continue watching it if there was an option. Okay.
Okay.
And so.
So now we're where?
So we're still down here. So we need.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back to our E's and C's again. So I'm gonna chop off the C7 part here, which I already see if you can find the E runners.
I've got an E here.
Okay.
And then the other E is
probably over by me, I would say. Yeah, this one right here.
Okay.
These ones are a little bit of a lighter white, it would appear.
Well, they're almost like a tinge of gray.
Oh yes, absolutely, very very.
Okay, so we want
So I got
E15.
Yep. So there's your red piece there.
I thought I have my red piece.
Oh no, this
okay.
is the C7 part right here that goes in the back of the heel.
Oh, okay.
But not just yet. We need the E piece first.
Right. Because
so again, this is 1 and 2.
Okay, so 15.
So let me grab mine real quickly here. 15 is here somewhere. I see it.
And you don't want to wiggle these off because it looks like they'd break.
Now you can if you don't have clippers at the end of the day. I don't recommend it because
you would end up with all sorts of nubbies.
You'd end up with quite a bit of nubs at the end of the day, but you'd also have a chance to tear the plastic as well. We should mention that this plastic is relatively thin at the end of the day. It's not very thick at all.
I'm totally getting that. Yeah. Okay.
It's
So this goes.
So what I will mention here is that you remember this ball point right here?
Yeah.
It looks like you need to flip it around so it kind of cradles in. It looks like.
Okay, got it. Good. I was wondering what they were trying to tell me there.
So yeah, so that's those little tab slots that I pulled out earlier. Look like they were those original tab slots in there. So.
Okay. So how does this go?
So it looks like we go down first and kind of just push it in a little bit.
Okay, hold here. So we go.
So notice how there's these little holes at the very back of the ball joint right there.
Oh, okay.
So we want to match those up, and I believe it's the thinner at the top, wider at the bottom.
I'm not getting it. Oh, okay. Center at the top. Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So there's little tabs at the
I got
right
it. I
at the
got it. I
ends.
got it.
Okay.
I see it now. I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes.
That's okay. These are, again, very fiddly sort of pieces. So
Center at the top.
don't,
Right
again,
at the
this could
bottom.
take you days to put one of these together in some cases. The good ones often do.
Okay. Well, I mean, 6 hours is quite a.
It's quite a feat, typically, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now these slide into.
So just slide it underneath
Yep,
the
got
fat
it.
part here. So
Got
as
it.
you can see, kind of
Oh
looks
wow,
like,
this is really articulated.
yes. Even, again, the toes, again, you got a toe movement here,
Yeah.
and you've got
Okay.
an entire heel sort of thing, action going on.
Okay.
And so the
All
next
right.
part we need is D8 and some G's. Okay, so
So D.
we're looking for D10. It will,
D what?
excuse me, D8 is what we're looking for. D8.
Okay. I see 9. Is that D? Oh, that's 8. Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like a bit like a horseshoe.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to need some G pieces here as well. So where's our
So D-
G right here?
So D8. And then what do we need? G.
You need a G4 and a G5.
Okay.
One for each foot.
I keep having to rotate these around because you're snipping from different sides.
Mm-hmm. And you know, again, like sometimes it's best to, if you even just grab it, just rotate the entire thing, whatever degree you need it to. Oh, you need one more piece in there too.
Oh, I need two.
There's
Okay.
a D4 and
I got
you
it. I
get
got
the
it. I
5
see it.
one.
Okay.
No, you want the 5 one.
Huh?
You want the one that says 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
I snapped it in the wrong place.
That's okay. I'll grab that one.
Oh no, I don't want you to have to grab that one.
It's okay.
Oh, I ruined it.
Let me see what you got here.
I snapped off a piece.
That's okay. It looks like no, you didn't get too much of it here. You'll be all right. So let me go ahead and let me see.
I'm sorry.
No worries. That's a part of. Don't worry. I cut off a couple pieces for the unicorn at the end of the day, which was not intentional. So
Okay.
for example, here I would do it from this way, and then I would just rotate the entire thing again
Okay.
to grab it
That
from
makes sense.
a place that would be more comfortable.
Okay. So these rings go.
So here's a 5-part for you.
Okay.
And I'll grab this.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be.
Okay.
We're
So-
having fun.
So these sort of slide on that little pin.
So I need a white. So where these little so from what it looks like here, so they have a diagram here. So these G pieces will fit into the white part first,
Okay.
and then the holes for the G parts will fit into where the where the hub nubs are for the original foot socket. So
Okay. I see it. Yeah, they do. They slide right in. Okay.
so let's see here. They say up.
Now, how much similarity do you find between different kits?
Depends a little bit. Like sometimes the feet won't be quite as articulated.
Okay.
In other cases, you might have, again, like the Gundam Unicorn here is very articulated foot, but also kind of because it transforms as well. So it has quite a level of movement to it at the end of the day.
Okay. So is that on there properly?
Let me see here. I think so. It looks similar to mine.
Okay.
And then, oh, that's a good question here. Is it supposed to be? It says it's supposed to be up. Oh, it's supposed to be down.
It's supposed to be down. Okay. So flip it the other way.
Yes. So let's see. To just
Thing is, it's so articulated that as you move it, like I keep thinking I'm breaking it, but I'm not really breaking it. It's just that it's meant to move.
mm-hmm. All right. So we got
Okay.
a foot.
Whoopsie.
You're okay. Again, these things come apart pretty quickly. You can super glue it if you want to, but generally not one of those ones
You would lose. Would you lose some of the articulation though, or you'd risk losing it by getting super glue in the wrong place?
The latter, most likely. You could sometimes some people will super glue the joints together because they want to keep a pose.
Okay.
Or perhaps it's one of these cases where like you really just want the foot pieces here to stay together, for all goodness sake here at the end of the day.
Right. Okay.
So, all right.
So this is what we're
Yep.
looking like.
So we're looking
okay.
like we got some good feet here going on right now.
Okay.
So let's see here. There we go. We put together feet.
Cool. Okay.
So now we're going to go on to the O2 part here, or the second part here. So we need
Right.
our B here, which is this part here. Now, this looks like to be all the cool bits here. So I'll let you. So you're going to take apart these two. You're going to take apart B1 first.
Okay. So
So that's going to be for you. It's going to be on your left, the leftmost one. So
this way.
Yep.
Gosh. Oh, this is scary because this is really
tiny.
it's really tiny.
So.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to be getting in here and trimming it more later.
Mm-hmm. Again, feel free to cut off the entire runner if you think that it'll give you more room at the end of the day to grab it. There's never a fault here at the end of the day.
Okay. You're right. Rotate it around.
So yeah, so you have whatever you're most comfortable getting at the end of the day.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
now I'm afraid to trim it because I'm afraid I'm going to trim something I didn't mean to.
Would you like me
So
to?
I want to get rid of this little ball here.
It depends though. Let's see. Which little ball are you talking about?
They show okay. So on the diagram, they
Mhm.
show little orange spaces.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. And so I do want to get rid of that little ball. So on
Yes,
this
it's-
diagram, they show your cut marks,
Yes, they do.
which is very, very helpful.
Yes, because these pieces are actually meant to bend around and move.
Okay. So there's my little ball
And
gone.
then there's actually a third one. There's actually another one that we'll need to get as well, I believe. May I see real quickly?
Uh-huh.
Let's see here. So, yes, so there's one right in here. It's very stealthy. Yep, so that's supposed to be able to move. And this part over here. Yeah, it looks like you got them.
Okay. All right.
So, let's
Okay.
move their
so,
feet over here to our completed area over here.
okay.
So next thing
Oh,
we're
so
gonna,
have a completed area. Okay.
yes. So now what it's asking us to do is to rotate some of the pieces a little bit to kind of open them up open up their joints a little bit. So there is
Okay.
these little.
Oh wow, that was cool. Okay. So I got that rotated, and I'm supposed to rotate. Where's that piece?
So some of them might still be embedded a little bit. I'm taking apart the other one here so I can follow along.
Okay, so when you say embedded a little bit, I got the one part. Okay, there's this piece rotating.
This is the one.
Oh my
tips
goodness, it
up.
rotates two different ways.
Yep,
So that
there's
goes up.
the
Oh
ball
wow.
joint right there, and then there's also you have. So I got that one there, and then this one here. This is a ball joint here as well. Okay, cool. I found the pieces.
Okay, so help me here because it looks like this should probably rotate, but I can't tell. Okay, so I have this rotating here,
Mm-hmm.
but what about this guy here?
So I'm going to show you a cool bit here. This is how far the knee can bend. There's actually a sliding pivot point here that's meant to hold on to it.
Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, so that piece turns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got that piece turning, and where does it pivot?
So If you'll, so you've got this
I
little,
see.
this one. There's this
Yeah.
little bit right here.
Right.
But then notice how this is kind of on.
Yeah.
So this will bend down this way.
Okay.
But this will also notice how there's a ball.
Yeah, I saw it there, and
hinge.
I just couldn't see where it was bending. Oh. Okay.
So it's actually socketed.
Okay.
It's really cool.
It is very cool. Okay.
So cool. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go for our G pieces here, which were, I think you might have
D.
B.
This is G.
Oh, you got G. Cool. All right.
Okay, so what am I going for?
You're going for G6 and G7.
Okay.
You don't be afraid to rotate it all the way around if you need to.
Yep, that's what I got to get used to doing.
It's okay. It takes. You do this for long enough, you'll eventually figure it out. Okay, and then for this one here, you want 5 and 4, according to this. So these are little like hubcaps looking bits there. It's a much quieter podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we're having to be very delicate here at the end of the day too.
Okay, so you said that there are variations obviously between different ones,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not
uniform. Like you can't take apart from a different model kit and transfer it over to the next model kit very infrequently, unless they're from the same series in a lot of cases.
same manufacturer. Well,
they're all Gunpla are made by Bandai, which is how they. Yes,
okay.
all Gunpla is made by Bandai at the end of the day.
Okay.
So we're right here on this one
Right
here.
there. Okay, so these go in this. Okay, so those go.
Yeah, sometimes it's reading it a dozen times until we figure out which way it's supposed to go. So thankfully, it looks like the H5 units here are not too crazy. They go right around a ball joint. The question here is though, is that
Oh. I see holes.
okay?
Okay, do I have the wrong? I have the wrong one, wrong end. Okay, there's the wrong end. Okay, so does it matter? Okay.
I see what they were trying to have us do. It wasn't to loosen it up, it was to literally rotate some of the pieces around. That makes more sense here now. Alrighty.
Okay, so oh wow, it's not on for me.
May I see real quickly? So do you have the nub part? So in this case here, this piece is actually supposed to rotate 180 degrees. So there. So yeah, so this bottom heel part was supposed to rotate 180 degrees around. So now, if you try to put it on, it'll kind of look like this at the end of the day. So there's this little nub part at the front that you want
I
to...
do see the... Okay, so that goes... Okay, I get it. Okay. I got it. Okay.
Very tiny little bits here. If you were a child,
Yeah.
this would probably be so much easier.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, I'm mentally thinking, geez, and I complain about the small eye work of embroidery.
Oh.
I'm just not quite getting that right.
So, I think you just had it backwards is all.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it looks like the part that goes is kind of leaning upward was supposed to be going upward instead.
Okay.
And
So it's upside down.
yeah, that's
Okay.
all. But you're not
Because it
wrong.
was popping off because it wanted to, but it was popping off.
Yeah, no, the hole is not centered properly for whatever reason. No. There we go.
Okay, and you heard it snap.
Yes.
Okay, so we heard it snap there.
Yeah, so that's a good sign.
Okay, so now once you get familiar with these pieces,
Mm-hmm.
does it become more logical or more?
It doesn't look like it makes any sense right now, but that's also somewhat intentional because this one's got a bit of an under armor to it as well that it's also asking you to build.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, because I see it goes underneath other things.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, there's some of these bits here which you'll never see ever again, but
Okay.
you'll always know that they're there.
Okay.
I'm gonna just flip real quickly. Oh, okay. You have a G by you, maybe?
Well, aren't we supposed to be putting these pieces on?
Yeah, you're putting those pieces on.
Well, you're ahead of me.
No, I'm following along with you.
You're following along with me.
Yes.
Right.
I am. Do you have the clippers over by you? Oh, I have them right here.
Yeah.
Hi, Beth.
That's okay.
6 and 7.
Okay, so now, how do I know that I'm on the right side with these?
So you want to match them up as best
Well,
as you can.
I don't find that an easy thing. I think I have this in the right place, but then that means that this has to go here, and I'm not sure that's supposed to go there.
So usually, anytime there's holes in something, that usually means that they want you to
You're gonna
line
match-
it.
you're gonna
you
match
want to
it
line
up.
it up. Yes.
But it doesn't. So maybe I'm on the wrong side.
So in this case here, it looks like. So if we're looking at it from this way, we want the strut kind of in the center strut here in the middle, and these bits are going to go around the kneecap right here. So there is a.
I heard something snap. Okay. I actually think is that right?
I think so. Let me see real quickly.
Did I get it backwards?
Nope. The only way, most of these don't go well together if they're backwards. So you did it
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Alrighty. So now we
You
need
F, 11 and 14, or 15.
yes, F, and so
Mm.
I have F right here.
Okay. So I need F, 11 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty sure mine's the same. 10 and 16. Okay. So you want 11 and 15.
Okay. So how often do you do these?
Well, when I was a teenager, I did. I'd like to build one at least once a month, or at least once maybe. I got a summertime job, and so I thought, oh hey, cool. I've always wanted to build these, so why don't I go and build them? Which is what I did, and probably not the greatest source of my funds from when I was working at the local water park, but
I remember that battle because I thought you should be contributing towards your college.
yes, that was.
But we had kind of a discussion.
Yes.
But
I knew no better.
And I always regretted that.
No, I didn't know. I mean, again, like when you're a teenager, you have disposable income. You don't, like nobody. There's not, any. You just think, oh, hey, cool, I have money. Let me go spend money. But you may not be thinking about the long-term investment or even the short-term investment for the most part here. You don't really know just yet, So
okay,
I blame nobody but myself.
Oh, but don't. I actually regretted that. Okay, so I'm trying. I admire you so much for doing this because this is
not easy.
This is not easy. Like this piece is in the way.
Oh, okay. So these are going in diagonally.
Diagonally. Or
not diagonally, rather, but so if you bend this knee part down, they do eventually fit in properly.
They do. And they're going front to back, or I got the knee part.
So you want the one that has kind of like the front skirt element kind of at the front strut.
I am out of my element here.
That's okay.
So if they have little nubs, and so the trick is to try to get
line them up.
To get them up. Okay. So once again. Oh, I should trim that. Okay. Tell me if I'm there.
Oh no, you're good. Yes, you were on the money. I'm gonna trim this up ever so slightly.
Yeah, because I'm a little far away there on that one. Okay. So now we're looking for D9. And again, we have to pivot something in order to get it on.
So the little divot piece here was this little leg bit right here.
Okay.
So I'll let you hold on to that. And then you have a D1 number 9. I have D for you just right here.
Okay. So have you done it since high school?
Well, this one right here was the first one I've made in quite some time.
Really?
When you're
wow, that's pretty complex.
Yeah, it's again. I imagine if I knew what I was doing or what I got into beforehand, it might have gone a little quicker. But that's not necessarily to say that that's not the case.
Okay, so this is going on this pivoty piece, right?
On the little slot piece, yes. So I'm D2 number 9.
Okay, so the slot piece actually goes through it.
Yep.
Oh, it snaps right in.
Oh, there's D2.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry. I was so enamored with the idea that this snapped right on.
This is also a D9. I keep thinking D9, but I think keeping D nice.
Ah, there we go. I like D nice.
I had somebody at work explain that to me as if it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard before, and I was like, I've heard that one before. And it's like, well, what about Aaron? So, alrighty.
Okay, so now we're looking for A.
I have A right over here for you.
A is our colorful board.
It's a very colorful board, yes.
A7 and A10. It has exclamation points by the one. Okay. So we are A7.
10.
10. Oh, gosh. Okay. So these pieces are really small.
Very itsy bitsy in this case.
Okay.
So this is one of those ones in which it does warn you to be a little careful on.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. So you'll notice on the very tiniest one, there's these little nub bits here that kind of look like that are in there. They're trying to warn you not to cut those.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had that one time where literally one of the runner bits was on a nub portion that I clipped off because it was like, oh well, this doesn't belong here, and later was rather upset with myself because it meant that one of my guy's arms don't work properly.
Okay. Am I correct in saying this goes in this thing here?
So I'm gonna just take a quick peek here real quickly. Ah, okay, I see. So that white little bit there actually goes on top. That little gray bit here actually goes on top of the little white shin piece that you put in.
Right.
So kind of like that.
That's what I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
My hands are too big.
It does stick out a little bit though, so don't be too afraid about that.
At what angle is it supposed to go on? I got it. Okay, got that.
Does it go all the way in?
It still sticks out, but it does snap.
Okay.
It does snap. Okay, and this and
then I think there's a completely different part it wants from you here at the end of the day. Let me.
where does okay,
So you
so
you
7.
need A7 from yourself.
A7 goes the other direction. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I see how it lines up. Okay, I got that.
Again, the manufacturing here is fairly clever at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, what's amazing is these pieces are so small,
Mm-hmm.
but they do snap on. Okay.
Ah, okay. It does sit flush.
Does it? Mine's not quite flush.
So
I got it flush. Okay, now that I pressed a little bit harder,
Okay, so
I do have it flush.
So
okay.
it does go flush. Okay.
It does go flush.
And then I'm going to assume you have an A7. I'm assuming I do have an A7 as well. Let me just cut this off here real quickly.
Okay.
All right, so we need to move on to your need
A2, 3. And
A2 and 3, and then you also need an E29 and 28.
Okay, so I'm going to worry about A2 and 3 first.
Okay.
I have A right here. A2. Oh, that's an interesting looking piece.
They all are, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Now, okay, so I want to make sure I cut this in the right place because it's got kind of an odd little nubby thing to it. Okay.
So there's a kind of an under nub on the back side, but it looks like it's kind of rounded around the top.
Okay, so there's A2, and I'm looking for 3.
A3, yes.
So I'm really slow cutting these because it just.
You just want to be careful. No, I fully understand. Right there with you.
Okay.
I also have an A2 and 3. This is one of those things where taking your time, turning on a good podcast or music in the background is definitely one of those times in which would be good. Not something you want to do in the middle of driving. It might be, albeit a bit counterintuitive.
This is amazing how I mean, this is such precision work in terms of how well jointed it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I was impressed the second I saw the knee bits.
Okay. And you said this is sort of a tier 3?
This is a tier
Tier
2.
2.
Yes.
That's a tier 3. Okay.
Yes.
He's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love all the little
glowing.
opaque,
Mm-hmm.
transparent pieces.
I was trying to find one similarly that you could put together, but I couldn't find one that didn't do all the transformation bits here. I got both the ones you need here.
I have E. This
Okay.
is E.
Yes, but
E1.
here are the two pieces for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so these go. Wow. Oh, it's so small. Okay.
So we apologize for the podcast listeners. We definitely recommend visiting the website at nerdtutorialpodcast.com. We'll have a video up of what we're doing so you can see just how fragile and delicate we're being here with these as much as possible, or as best as we can be.
Well, and part of the challenge is, I see where this piece goes, but part of the challenge is making sure you have the right one, as opposed to literally the left one.
Sometimes the trick is to kind of fit them on first in some cases.
Yep.
Oh,
got it. Okay.
To figure out which.
When it's right, it clicks right in. It's just a matter of
figuring out which way is the right way.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I'm gonna clean that up just a little bit.
And then the fun part here is trying to figure out where the. Oh, I see. Okay, I see where they're supposed to go here. So.
Yeah. That's that little itty bitty guy.
Yeah, I see where.
Yeah. I got it in, and once I figured it out, because it was sort of counterintuitive that the wider side goes towards the bottom. Okay. So now I got.
Kind of like that, right? Yep, that looks good to me.
Okay, so I got that on.
So now you need
E22 and D20.
And D23.
D23 is that 20?
E22 and D23.
Oh, I thought that looked like 20.
Oh, that is 20 right there. You're right. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't see that part.
So I want D120.
Mm-hmm.
And I want D120.
Wow.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. That's an itty bitty piece.
Yeah,
okay.
they are.
Okay, so there's there's D120 and
Mhm.
E.
So that's E1, but I think so. You want E1.
One.
It looks like number 22.
E122.
Oh, we got to nub caps.
What are nub caps?
So those are little caps you put around the knees here in that case.
Is that what that is?
They are.
Okay.
And then you also need D1 number 23.
Oh, I see it there. Okay, so hold it here. So this, oh gosh. Okay. So this goes.
Ever so tiny, these little pieces. They really are.
Yeah, and it goes in a really awkward place too, if I've got that correctly. So this is a cap that goes over?
It looks like one of them goes. So the D20 piece looks like it goes over a knee bit here.
Yeah, I see it.
And
I
then
think I see it.
So tiny.
It's tiny and it's got an itty bitty nubby on it.
And then
Is it supposed to have the nubby on it? Yes.
Yes. The E21, the E22, and the D21 piece. Those are like the back portion where they're kind of inlaid to one another. It looks like.
Okay. Well,
So I'm gonna try to find my pieces here real quickly.
Got that on.
20, 22, 23. So
Okay, so you're already jumping ahead.
no. Well, I'm jumping.
Here.
I'm jumping ahead to the page that has my bits on it because keep in mind these are left and rights.
Oh, okay.
So
Alright.
in this case here, there is a counterpoint left bit that
Okay,
I
so
want
that's
to.
there.
Let me have. I'm gonna grab these clippers real quickly.
Okay, so
It's a D20, right? Yes, D20.
did I put this on the wrong side? Oh, okay. Because I've got it upside down. Okay, it's on the proper side, but it's upside down.
I'm gonna clean mine up ever so slightly here. Cool.
Okay.
So if you look on the, you're on the flat part right now? You're on a shin, I believe.
I am. I'm trying to figure out where. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes.
Excellent. Sounds like you found it.
Yeah. Took me a moment though.
It's okay. It's all right.
You gotta orient yourself to the way they've got the part turned.
Mm-hmm. Which is not easy in some cases.
It's not as I alternate between being frustrated with trying to match the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and then also being amazed by how detailed these are, detailed and fitted. Except, how does this articulate once you've got all these pieces on it? Because it seems like it's losing mobility as you go.
Nope, it's still got pretty good mobility from what I can see. Everything, keep in mind, everything when this was designed intentionally in such a way that it would be able to
Okay.
maneuver itself around later on.
The 67E10.
So I'm gonna. So I got my little itty bitty D23 part here,
You go ahead.
and I need what is it? Tell me, Paige. Tell me E222.
D7. Where's D6? Oh, there's D6.
One of those nice things that thankfully these are the E2 and the E1 are mirrors of one another because E2 doesn't even start until 10, doesn't even include a 1 on there at all. Here you go. So at least it's easy to follow along with. So I'm gonna assume, yeah, just kind of probably like that.
I've clipped myself several times.
Oh no,
It's okay. I've drawn blood.
you have or you haven't?
I haven't.
Oh.
Give me time.
No blood on camera.
Okay. And I want E10. Okay. So what do you find is the hardest body part to get together?
There's not necessarily, everyone can be a little bit different. I found, for me, the most difficult part at the end of the day with the unicorn was just getting it into such a way because while I was building it, you try to transform it so you know how it transforms at the end of the day. And so that was a struggle on my part because I kept seeing where all the pieces go, but I wanted to make sure that as I was putting it together, I'd know how it transforms at the end of the day. And part of that was just tricky from my point of view because I wasn't sure how stuff went. Ooh, wow. Got it. So I'm finding with this little E part here that I really am trying to just clean it up ever so slightly and not cut myself at the end of the day. Which is, as much as I really want to, I can't cut myself. It would not look good on camera.
It would not be.
But I got the piece in. Ah, good. Finally it fit in there. Looks like it. Aha. Figured it out. Yep, that looks like a shin. Very indicative of a shin.
Well, okay, so you have some advantage here because you,
Know what it'll look like at the very end, at minimum.
yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
No, no. Oh no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just trying.
You're saying that's a
It's a distinct advantage
true.
because I'm sitting here with this knee. Is it knee? What am I working on here?
I think you're working on an upper leg right now, or
Upper leg?
possibly yeah, you're working on the upper leg right now.
Okay. So and I keep trying to make sure I'm angled the way it wants me to be. And therein I think lies my problem.
I mean, there is only so much I think you can do at the end of the day with pictures.
I can't tell how far. Okay.
How far away you are in some cases.
Okay, so that snapped. Yeah, I got it upside down. I had it upside down.
That's okay. I'm just gonna flip a page real quickly to follow along. D5, it is that piece. Okay. Because the two pieces here in this kit, thankfully, the D1 runner shares a lot of parts with the D2 runner. Not all of them,
Right.
though. So, and then...
See, and I'm trying to make sure I don't have this on backwards. But I guess if I had it on backwards, it wouldn't work, right?
Nope. So let's see if I can follow along here.
Okay, so there's... I think I do have it on backwards. So that's the other way.
It is kind of hard to tell, isn't it?
Well, I'm not. I mean, it seems to me like it probably shouldn't work if it's on backwards, but I can't tell for sure.
Ah, well, if it helps you out here, I had the pieces upside down entirely, so...
Okay. Well, I feel better after.
So I'm not... So you're not too crazy just yet.
Oh. Oh. Okay. I actually was on right because otherwise this would. I didn't realize that's what it was going on. But I guess that makes sense.
Because it's going on that upper leg portion, right?
Well, okay. So is it supposed to be on that little ladder guy?
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate because it fits perfectly on it. I can't get it off. Fits perfectly on there. It doesn't show it mounting on.
I know how the little ladder portion goes on now. I figured it out. So if you notice there...
Well, now I've stamped it. Okay. See, it fit perfectly. Where's the where's the tweezers?
Right here.
Okay, so I need to muscle that guy off. Okay, so I got... oh, geez, I broke a piece off in it. It went on there so nicely. It did.
I figured it out. I figured this one out here now.
Okay, so it's not supposed to go up and be mounted on the ladder guy?
No, the ladder guy is actually supposed to kind of fit into it in an odd sort of way, it would seem.
So it's not to be mounted on it.
Ah, I see now. This all makes more sense.
Okay, so I got that piece out. Okay, so I'm putting the ladder guide back. Or want to put the ladder guide back.
All right, let me help you here in just a second because I figured out mine finally. So
Okay.
so I'll be able to help you in just a second here.
Okay. So the ladder guide swung 360 around.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So if I may, real quickly.
Just not good at this.
That's okay. That's okay. So where's the little ladder bit here? Okay. So alrighty. So
He snapped right on it really nicely. It looked right, except I just kind of knew it was wrong.
it's okay. All right. So I'm just going to put this ball guide back in his slot.
Okay.
And so if you notice right here, there's a little
Uh-huh.
hinge that looks like something.
Uh-huh.
So this actually, backwards. This one again, not intentionally in there, so he actually fits inside there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so you get this nice kind of action right there at the end of the day.
Okay. All right.
And so
So then, okay. So
if you notice the white part here,
right.
so that one, so there's a little. If you notice on the inside of it, there is a nub on the inside of it,
Yeah.
and so that nub actually fits right underneath the. There's a little socket for it right underneath, actually. So.
Okay. Okay. So that goes there.
Oh wow, that is very ingenious. You'll like this when you figure it out.
Okay. That goes there.
Mm-hmm.
And
So it'll kind of fit in like this at the end of the day.
okay.
And it might be upside down too, so just keep that in mind. It's
Okay.
Does it look like it all lines up?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So what you do if you bend the knee word back a little bit.
Uh-huh. Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
I mean, just yours for just a second.
Yeah, I snapped that one little nub off, so accidentally. See, it's right here.
Ah, okay. That's okay. So there's nothing I can do about that.
I know. I think it'll stay. It'll stay put.
Yeah, it'll stay put. Yeah.
It'll stay put
Yeah.
because of that ring. Okay, got it.
Cool. Alrighty.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay.
It happens.
All right.
Alrighty. So we're actually getting pretty close here now.
Okay.
So we need a. So we have our A runner here. It looks like they
Uh-huh.
want a A8.
Okay. A6 is still here. I shouldn't be concerned about that, right?
I don't remember seeing an A6 that you needed to pull out earlier.
Okay.
So at least not yet.
Well, A8's already gone.
Nope, they're right here.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
And then we also and then we need your E runner here, which I believe is this one right here.
Okay.
You need E16. It looks like it's kind of a flatter panel.
It is. Okay. This is where I get nervous trimming. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also need D11 and 12, and these are the rounded parts right kind of in the middle. They're trying to be so right here.
Oh, okay.
So again, don't be afraid to cut off the runners if you feel that it will let you get in there a little bit better.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So now I'm at where? I'm at
So you're at this stage right
here.
here.
Okay. Wow. The precision on these things are amazing.
It is, isn't it?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's an upper thigh right there. Or getting kind of a knee bone here. So I need, pretty sure mine is the E2, which is the 16. Yep, I have an E16. Awesome.
Okay. So now I'm looking for.
Let me grab my 8-bit key real quickly.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. This happens. This happens all the time. I'm looking for an A8, which I'm sure there are 2 of them here. Yep. So now you're on to, you need E1 and D1 at the end of the day for you.
Yeah.
So D1.
One.
And then, here we go. And then you got the E1 rudder right here.
So D127. Oh, wow. Now, do you ever accidentally cut off the wrong thing?
Yes. I did that at least once or twice with the
We have an
unicorn
F2.
here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So his right arm has this sword bit that kind of allows it to kind of swing open like this.
Uh-huh.
I cut the nubs that hold it to do the swivel motion on the other arm, so it actually doesn't stay on the other arm at all, at very much if at all. So, but again, I mean, like that's where the shield went. So, and the pieces are interchangeable. So I just decided to put it on the left arm, which would have the shield on it, which I knew was never going to be like something that moved around a whole lot. So I was okay with that at the end of the day.
Okay. That piece goes.
All right, we're finally working on just the very end of the kneecap here. So
Yeah. Well, I see where it goes, but.
Rip this real quickly. It's okay. So D27. I'm actually really impressed when we put the leg together here, like how the different like white bits go together.
Yeah.
It almost looks patchwork on a certain level.
Yeah. No, I mean it's interesting because it's 2 different shades too.
Oh, did you get the F part?
I did not get the F part.
So there was apparently an extra little F part here, F1. I will cut you one.
Okay. Oops. Okay. Needs to
For you
tuck
there. So I'm going to leave this.
Okay.
Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this on this bright yellow bit of my tablecloth here.
Okay.
Or my makeshift tablecloth, so it's easy for you to see.
Okay.
So,
I actually need to, I think, sand this to have it fit correctly. Because it's got kind of I left kind of a little nub.
okay.
And so it's just not quite hanging right. is interesting because I envisioned this involving vast amounts of glue.
Nope, no glue necessary.
No glue necessary. Okay, so and you left that piece. Oh, jeez. Really? And this goes where?
So it technically looks like it goes underneath the E21 piece.
Oh.
So if you already put that in.
Okay, so it goes.
Yep, there we go.
So it goes down. Down on that little bitty bit. Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you this question and it may come out wrong.
Okay.
But you have big hands.
I do.
How do you do this?
Well, again, mine had slightly bigger parts to it, so
Well,
I got very lucky. I think I got a little luckier on that element there.
I'm just saying.
Oh, that's upright.
You have big hands,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have, I have woman. I don't have man hands, and I'm having a problem because my hands are too big. Like, I understand where this piece is supposed to go. But that was a challenge. I just sent it flying. There it is.
I see where how it goes in now.
How does it go?
So, if you notice,
Oh,
once you get it kind of nestled in there, this gray part will slide right on top of it to kind of keep it in place. What an insignificant little piece to have to deal around with.
well, and one has to ask why.
Why? Well, again, I mean, so this is a real grade, so a little bit more precise.
Okay.
So
Okay. I got it. Okay.
all right, so you're gonna take a foot,
Take a foot.
and you'll notice the very bottom hole. So this is how the leg would go. Yep.
Okay.
So you're just going to put the little nub into the foot at the bottom.
Now, does it rotate 360? Because I assume I have to be.
You can if you want to.
I'm trying to put this in backwards. Okay. Sorry.
You're okay.
There it goes. Okay.
So, alrighty.
Okay. So I have a.
You have a right leg, and I have a left leg.
Cool.
I know, right?
Okay, so we're gonna finish this next week, I presume.
Yeah. Well, so let's work on this next week, but we can also talk about our experience at SmackDown,
Okay.
which we're going to see on Friday as well.
Okay.
We'll get to see Braun Strowman again. He's the new
Okay.
Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We may get to see you'll get to experience Braun Strowman. It's not Braun Strowman, but you'll get to experience Roman Reigns finally.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So expect some booze,
Some booze.
particularly
Okay.
from me.
I'm wearing my Becky Lynch T-shirt.
We'll get to see Bailey.
Oh, very good. So she is coming. It's confirmed.
Well,
One presumes since she's from San Jose.
yeah, she's from San Jose, so we would assume that she would be there. We'll also hopefully get to see Shinsuke Nakamura, which is a fun
Okay.
one of my favorite wrestlers from back in the New Japan era.
Okay.
And so yeah, no, we'll get to see a bunch of cool people. It'll be very fun.
Well, this was very fun.
Yes, this was. What did you think about this so far?
Okay, so it requires tiny hands. Oh my gosh. No, this is fun, and I can remember my father used to make models all the time.
Mhm.
He used to make model airplanes and various ones. They're very popular from World War II.
Oh yes, I would imagine from World War II in particular.
Yeah, so my father used to do that, and so I remember him. But I remember it with glue, and this is much nicer than. So I was envisioning glue, and paint and all those things, because that's how I used to see it done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really impressed with the articulation.
I am too.
And
Again.
how precisely these are
because I love these knees. I mean, like if you just look at the knee bits here, there's so much happening.
To me, it's look at the detail on this.
And again, these parts are for comparison. We admittingly have big hands. So
my hands are probably not.
I have big hands, and and for me, at the end of the day, these are But I mean, this knee, even all clad, fully articulates. Again, it has all that articulation going on in it.
Yeah, and the foot pivots and turns, and the precision involved in like this little piece right here sliding right in, and how everything clicks together.
I'm fascinated by all like what looks like to be like the patchwork element of the armor bits here. Like it was put together last minute, which the RX was a little bit kind of patchwork again. I mean, like it was.
Well, I think it's interesting because you've clearly got intentionally two shades of white, a sort of a more gray one and a.
There's almost three.
White one.
There's almost three actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's I mean, there actually are three because this gray is different than this gray.
Mm-hmm. And then we have like a more pure white sort of here.
It's amazing.
Excellent. So we will pick this up next week here.
Okay.
Because again, we only built legs.
I know. Well, that's why I was asking you earlier. I mean, is there a part of the body that's more difficult than others because it took us this long to build the legs? I'm being slow, but.
Well, I mean, it's okay to be slow. Again, we can take our time. Again, keep in mind that, again, for some people, the 6 hours would just be spent on... People will put body filler onto parts to make the seams line up even more tightly. They'll shave it down and go through this entire process, and then they'll go through the process of painting it, with airbrushes.
I mean, I could see where like... you could do something where you got it. Well, these are pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, geez, these are pretty tight.
Yeah, you may not go for like a real grade to do painting or a lot of additional work on them, but you would definitely do one for like a master grade, or especially if you were going to be painting it a perfect grade. Most definitely, you would definitely do that. So
he's beautiful.
Thank you.
He's quite impressive.
I'm looking forward to getting the chance to put on some panel lines and do a little more to him.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Okay.
So again, this primarily was this is audio. There is a video component to this. Highly recommend to go visit our website at nerdtutorialpodcast.com to see the video, and you'll see us building it, because there are little bits of stretches here where it obviously didn't have a lot of talking. So if you made it through this far, definitely recommend to go to the website. We can also continue the discussion at our Facebook group at facebook.com/Nerd Tutorial Podcast. And if you have ideas or questions or comments or ideas for future topics, I definitely recommend hitting me up on Twitter at nerd_tutorial. And again, we were following all the stuff that we do on there. So if you ever want to just see what we're doing on Twitter and see what we've been working on or what we've been talking about, we have all the topics that are constantly getting updated there as well. So we'll have...
Well, and every once in a while we post a little fun stuff too.
Oh, absolutely. I found a great little animation here earlier today for baseball.
I like that.
For football. I thought it was very cute.
I like that a lot.
So, on behalf of myself and my mom, we'll see you guys again next time.
Bye.